So the first card you have for your past is the Lovers. So yeah, I'm seeing, this card can be about choices. So I think there might be a choice in this card. And I hope this isn't going to sound too confusing. I'm going to try and explain this as well as I can for you. I'm seeing one real choice and one kind of not so real choice, if that makes sense. I'm actually seeing that there could have been someone new around you, someone who was definitely interested in you. And I don't think this was a proper relationship yet. I think you might have just been talking to them, or maybe they were just talking to you, or maybe you were just friends with them. But I think you knew that they were interested in you. I think you could really sense that, you could feel that. And also they were saying things to you that made you kind of think that they were anyway. It was kind of what they were saying were really giving themselves away. So I don't think you were, I mean, you might have been a little bit interested, a little bit not sure about this. You were really just kind of testing the waters to see how you felt about them. You weren't completely interested, you weren't completely disinterested in this person, I think. But I just think you weren't really feeling a great big spark. You weren't feeling any spark coming from them. And I think you'd experienced this spark before with someone else and an ex, and maybe you hadn't experienced that since you were around this ex or with this other person. And it was something you really wanted, it was something you really craved, not specifically with that person, but you just really needed to feel that again. That's what I'm seeing. So I hope this is making sense, but what I mean by a false choice is that this wasn't a choice that you had to make between two actual people. It was because, this other person wasn't actually around you at this time. This was a choice between two feelings. And I just don't think you were happy to settle with anyone who you didn't feel that spark with. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't go... That doesn't mean that you should be going back to this ex. I don't think you should be going back to this ex, actually, but it just means that you know what you're looking for, and you know how you want to feel around someone, and you know how you want someone to make you feel. That's what I'm seeing. And the way that you feel is the most important thing for you, how you feel. Now, with some people, it's not. Some people are like, well, they tick all the boxes. Some people are like, well, I'm after this, and I'm after this, that, and this, and the other thing. How you feel, and feeling that spark, and feeling that passion, and feeling that excitement, all of that is really important to you. That's what I'm seeing. And if you look at this card, the man's looking over to the woman, but she's looking up to this beautiful angel. She's looking at a sort of divine experience. She's looking at some out of this world, up in the air, amazing experience. So if this resonates with you and you don't get this special feeling, this spark around this person, which I'm seeing that you're probably not, you could keep on seeing them casually for a while, because sometimes love can grow. I have seen it happen. But, I think if after some time you still don't feel that spark with them, and you don't feel satisfied around this person, and I'm getting that feeling that you won't be, and you're not, I won't tell you what to do, but yeah, I think that's something you really need. I think that's something you really need. And I think you're not getting that spark, that passion around this person. This is something you need. And I don't think you're going to get that from that person. That's what I'm seeing. You might already know that. So the next card you have for your past is the Eight of Wands. So yeah, this person who you were talking to, they might have been calling you a lot. This is often about a lot of fast communication, and usually it's phoning, texting. It's not face-to-face communication, because this is kind of coming through the air, these wands. So I think they were messaging you a lot. They were trying to keep you, or keep them in your mind all the time, and they were kind of doing lots of texts, doing lots of calls, leaving lots of messages, all of that kind of thing. And I think that would have been great if you're feeling some kind of passion for them, but I think their constant communication might have felt even a little bit annoying to you, actually. You're a really busy person, and you're very work focused. I see that all the time. I know that about you. So obviously, you like communication, but I think not when it's constant communication, and not when it's kind of all this, this kind of constant, your phone kind of pinging and going ping, ping, ping when you're doing something else and you're busy. You really just didn't need that. You just really needed some kind of breathing space, I think. And I can understand that. So, if you look at the ones on this card, they're kind of flying through the air. And, they look a bit like arrows. They're heading toward a target, but they're flying across this home. There's a little house just on the bottom left-hand corner up on a hill. So they're flying over the house. And they're not hitting the house. They're kind of flying over it. They're kind of missing the mark, missing their target. So, yeah, they probably weren't helping themselves by communicating this much with you. And I think there was no kind of mystery, no excitement, nothing kind of interesting for you, nothing that kind of sparked your interest in their communication. They might have been messaging you about kind of boring things or mundane things or things like that. I'm not saying that you needed some exciting Einstein genius who was amazing to kind of communicate with you all the time, but you didn't want things like, maybe they were communicating things like, oh, I had toast for breakfast or something. It's like, and then you're getting this message and you're thinking, why do I want to know that? I don't want to know that. What are they doing? So you might have been thinking that. And it was kind of the wrong sort of communication and too much communication. And it kind of left you a little bit. They were trying to get you to think about them by communicating all the time. But I think the more they did that, the more disinterested you became, really. I'm sorry, crosswatchers, don't be angry. This is just what I'm seeing. It might not even be about you, so don't be upset. The last card you have for your past is the Three of Wands. So yes, I think you knew that something was really missing between you, and your focus wasn't on them. And I think when you're truly in love with someone, you're just your head and everything, your heart's with them, and you're just thinking about them all the time. And you weren't doing that with this person. And you were very busy. You had a lot of other things to do and to think about. And I'm also seeing in this card, this is the card of waiting. And I'm also seeing you kind of waiting for someone else to kind of make up their mind about something. I think this is something work related, but I think this might be a colleague or a friend, or it might be someone who's both. And yeah, I think they might have agreed to do something with you, a project or something like that, or something, or you maybe you asked them to join you in something like that, something work related. And I think they said yes initially, but then I think they might have been a little bit nervous around whatever this was. And I can see that this would have been a really, really good opportunity for both of you if you both had have taken this, and a really good business opportunity, a really good money-making opportunity, actually. But I keep on seeing them kind of going backwards and forwards around this thing. And I think, you're very patient with them. You're a patient person. But I actually think eventually, they might go backwards and forwards a bit with this, but I think eventually they might end up backing out of this. And, yeah, you're patient, but I think there's only so much you could do or say to someone who's really anxious or nervous. And I think this anxiousness or this nervousness might end up taking over, and yeah, they might end up backing out of this. So if this resonates, you're right. It would have been a fantastic thing for them to do and for you to do together. But I think you might eventually end up doing this by yourself. I don't think you're going to get them to do this. I think you're going to keep on trying for a while, but I think, and they might say yes a few times and then go backwards and forwards, but then I think eventually they might say no. That's what I'm seeing around that. So the first card you have for your present is the Three of Pentacles. So I think, yeah, you're going to keep on trying to convince them. That's what I'm seeing in this. You probably, I think you're going to eventually have to give up on this, but yeah, you're going to keep on trying with them for a while, because I think you really think this is a really good thing, and it is a good thing. And also you complement each other. It's like you have certain skills and you're strong in some areas, weak in other areas, and they're kind of strong and weak in the opposite areas. So, you complement each other, and I think you'd both be perfect to work together on whatever this is, and you know that. But I'm seeing you encouraging them. I'm seeing you trying to help them with their lack of confidence around this thing. But again, I think they're probably just going to back out in the end, and it might just feel a bit too much for them. This might be something that forces them into the spotlight in some way. And I think there are some parts of them that don't mind being in some kinds of spotlights, but other things I think they don't like being put on the spot. It's kind of that kind of feeling, and they feel a lot of anxiety around this. So I think, you know, their anxiety and their stress is probably going to win in the end, I think, which is really sad when anxiety wins. But yeah, it's going to be sad for both of you, but I think, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So the next card you have for your present is the Nine of Swords. So yeah, again, this is about them, and something happened to them, I think, a long, long time ago. Excuse me, maybe even years and years ago. And that's what kind of caused them to have this anxiety around this, which started this whole thing. And especially this big level, this is a huge level of anxiety that they're feeling. And, you know, if you look at this card and you look at the base of the bed, it might be a bit hard to see in this camera, but on the wooden base of this bed, there's kind of a carving of someone stabbing someone. It's not my kind of idea of a decor in the bedroom, but yes, that's what this person has. So yeah, so it's in the base of the bed, which is really significant on this card, because the base, whatever happened that hurt this person, is at the base of their anxiety. So someone hurt them. That's what this stabbing is representing, someone really hurting someone. So someone really hurt them, and that's at the basis of this anxiety, and that's what is stopping them from going ahead and doing this. So that's what I'm seeing there. So if you're wondering what the basis of all of this is, it's something that happened to them a long, long time ago, maybe even when they were a child, and that causes them to have this anxiety around whatever this is. So I also think they can be a little bit sensitive and even a bit volatile if they're really, really pressured, if they're put under pressure. So be careful not to push too hard with them. I know you really want this, and I know you think that this is really good for this person, and it is, I agree with you. But I think you might just have to let it go. If your instincts are telling you, oh, I might be pushing a bit hard on this, you're probably right, and just let it go. Because I think, you know, you have a friendship with this person, and I think that friendship's too important to lose over this thing. So just let it go. And if they're feeling like that, just say, well, I'm sorry that you're feeling like that. I can help you with that if you like, but, you know, I won't try and push you if that's not what you feel like doing. So the last card you have for your present is the Moon. So again, yeah, I'm seeing the same thing here again. Let it go. You might have to do this on your own. I think you probably will end up doing this on your own. The other thing I'm seeing in this card is there's a creative project that you might be working on. Now, I see this all the time in your readings. Whatever this is something that's going to eventually help a lot of people, I'm seeing. And I think you might have already done a lot of work on this. You might be kind of in the middle or toward the end of whatever this is. And I think you might be using some of your past experiences to maybe use as examples in this project to kind of help people. And I don't know if this is making sense, but that's what I'm seeing. So if this all resonates with you, there might be some areas that you might have skimmed over, some things that have happened in your life that might have been a little bit difficult and a little bit painful for you to kind of bring up and talk about and use in this thing. And I know this isn't easy for you, and I don't want to force you. I don't want to kind of make you do anything you don't feel comfortable doing. But I think try to rethink this decision that you made, because I think using these things or talking about these difficult past experiences that have happened to you, these really deep things, are going to add a lot of depth and a lot of realness to whatever this is. And yeah, I know this is specific. I know it probably will only resonate with a few people, but I need to get this message out to someone, because this is a project that's going to eventually reach a lot of people. And I think it's going to reach more people, and I think it's going to help people on a much deeper level if you use these deep experiences to kind of as examples to help people, and you explore those things. I hope that makes sense to you. I really do. I really hope it does, because I can really see this project, and I can really see something that is really, really, really going to help a lot of people in the future. And I think to help them properly in a real way, you need to be as real with yourself as possible. And again, I don't want to force you to do anything you feel uncomfortable with, but this is going to turn this into a kind of 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional thing for people. That's what I'm seeing. The first card you have for your future is the Ace of Pentacles, which I love, obviously. So yeah, I've seen this card so many times for you in your readings, and it's always around this project that I was seeing in the Moon card. And I keep seeing you working on this. Obviously, this is another message to tell you not to give this up. Do not give this up. You're being led to success, not only for you, but for a lot of other people. And this is going to help a lot of people. I'm seeing that again in this. You're going to use your experiences to benefit these people. And I think you know this, I think you feel this. So if this resonates, just know that this feeling that you're having, this positive feeling, this feeling of knowing that this is going to work, this is the universe telling you to keep going on this. Don't give up. This is a beautiful gift that's coming to you. Here is this coin coming to you in this hand. It's just for you. It is for you. Now, obviously, this is going to be a big thing for you financially, but it's going to be a huge, huge thing for you emotionally, and it's going to be a huge help to other people emotionally as well. That's what I'm seeing. So, excuse me, the next card you have for your future is the High Priestess. So, yeah, sometimes this card, it can be about secrets, it can be about spirituality. I'm seeing, sometimes it can be about a woman who seems unobtainable, someone who's a little bit mysterious, a bit like the Mona Lisa. If you think about the Mona Lisa, she's interesting. She's someone who a lot of people would love to get close to. They love to talk to them, but they can't seem to get close to this person. That's the kind of thing she gives off, for me anyway. And I would love to talk to the Mona Lisa. I'd love to ask her, what's that mysterious path behind you? Where does it lead? What are all the symbols in your eyes about? There are all sorts of numbers inside her eyes. It's amazing. And why do you have this little smile on your face? And what did Leonardo da Vinci talk to you about? And did he try and make all sorts of kind of jokers and fools come and jump up and down and make you smile? Or what happened? Or did he tell you something really kind of rude or some joke? What happened? I'd love to ask her all these things, and obviously I can't ask her anything. And I think that's how this person in the Lovers card felt about you. Now, a lot of other people didn't feel like this about you. You're a very approachable person. You're a very easy to talk to person, or I should say you're a person who is easy to talk to. But yeah, this is the way they saw you. And I think that, yeah, they wanted to connect with you, but to them, you were like this mysterious, unobtainable, perfect person up on a pedestal, and they couldn't quite get to you, and they wanted to. I'm seeing a lot of communication happened. They were kind of texting, messaging, talking, all this stuff, and then it kind of disappeared. It's like there was this big wave of communication from them to you, and then nothing. I'm seeing waves, actually, because the bottom of the High Priestess's dress looks a bit like waves. It looks like the sea going up and down. So there's this big wave and then nothing. So I can't see whether you actually told them that they were a little bit full on, or you told them anything. Maybe they realised that you weren't very enthusiastic, because I think you weren't messaging them very often. And I think they probably are going to start contacting you again, even though they've stopped, because they are still going to be thinking about you. So if this resonates, you might have to kind of make your mind up. You might have to tell them for once and for all how you feel about them, that you really just don't really want a relationship with them. And I know it's going to be a hard conversation to have, but I think you really need to be upfront with them and stop them from kind of hoping if that hope isn't there. And I don't think you're trying to be cruel on purpose. I don't think you're trying to string anyone along. But maybe you're thinking that, because there was this big wave of contact and then it kind of disappears. Maybe you were thinking, or maybe you are thinking that they've stopped contacting you and they're just not interested. And you might be thinking, well, that's that then. They're not going to talk to me anymore. But they are going to come back and talk to you. That's what I'm seeing. So get ready for what you have to say to them. I think you really should be upfront with them. I can see it's not really going to happen with this person. So be kind to them. Be very sensitive toward them, but tell them the truth. Tell them that you really don't see a relationship with them in the kindest way that you possibly can, if this resonates with you. The last card you have for your future is the King of Wands. So yeah, I know you probably really, really wanted this friend or this colleague or whoever this was in the Three of Wands to do this thing with you. I can see all through this reading that you really thought this was going to be a huge thing and an amazing combination of you both together doing this thing. And you're right, I think this was a very good person to be able to do this personality-wise, but I think they can be a little bit all over the place emotionally sometimes, and even a bit volatile, which is what I was seeing in the Nine of Swords. So I think that when you eventually let go of the idea of them doing this and you decide to just kind of do this by yourself, I think you're going to start to feel a lot happier and even a lot, even a bit relieved actually, because I don't think you'd be able to really rely on this person properly for some reason. I think they might be a little bit up and down emotionally. I think they're fantastic as a friend. And I think they're great to work on some things. Definitely hang on to them as a friend. But I think as someone to work with on this particular type of thing that they're anxious about, I don't think it would ever really have worked. So yeah, I think also, you like working on your own. It really suits you to work on your own as well. So I think you're going to pick this up on your own and you're going to be happy doing that. And I think you're probably still going to keep up this friendship with them, and you're not going to lose them. Everything's going to be fine, I think. So the result's going to be good anyway. So don't stress too much and don't try to kind of keep on convincing them to do this. Just kind of let it go if they've given you the indication they don't want to do this. That's what I'm seeing.